My daughter was hosting my retirement party when my wife leaned over and whispered, "Don't drink anything else. We need to leave." Now, I thought she was joking until I saw her face. She wasn't joking, and what she was about to show me would destroy everything I thought I knew about my own child. My name is William Chen, and 3 months ago, I turned 65. After 42 years of teaching mathematics at Simon Fraser University in British Columbia, I was finally retiring. My daughter Melissa and her husband Derek had insisted on throwing me a celebration at their beautiful home in West Vancouver. They'd invited colleagues, former students, neighbors, family friends, over 100 people. I should have been the happiest man alive that evening. The party was perfect, too perfect maybe. Melissa had arranged everything down to the smallest detail. My favorite foods, a slideshow of my career, even a string quartet playing in the corner. She'd given a beautiful speech about how much I meant to her, how I'd sacrificed everything to give her the best education, the best opportunities. There were tears in her eyes when she said it. My wife Patricia sat beside me the whole evening, smiling and chatting with guests, but I noticed something odd. She barely touched her wine. She kept watching Melissa and Derek with this strange intensity. When I asked her what was wrong, she just squeezed my hand and said, "Not here, later." Around 9 o'clock, Patricia excused herself to use the washroom. She was gone for nearly 15 minutes. When she came back, her face had gone completely white. She leaned close to my ear. "Don't drink anything else," she whispered. "Don't eat anything. We're leaving in exactly 5 minutes. Act completely normal." "Trish, what are you talking about?" "Trust me, William. 5 minutes. I'll make an excuse." My wife of 38 years had never lied to me. Not once. If she said we needed to leave, we needed to leave. She stood up and announced loudly that I wasn't feeling well, probably just tired from all the excitement. Melissa rushed over, all concern and sympathy. Derek offered to call a doctor. Patricia waved them off with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "He just needs rest," she said firmly. "We'll head home now. Thank you both for this beautiful evening." In the car, I turned to her immediately. "What the hell is going on?" Patricia's hands were shaking on the steering wheel. I went upstairs to use the bathroom. The main floor one had a line. I passed by Derek's office and the door was slightly open. I saw Derek's laptop on his desk, unlocked. And I shouldn't have looked, William. I know I shouldn't have. But something made me glance at the screen. She pulled over into a grocery store parking lot and turned off the engine. She was crying now. I saw an email from Melissa to Derek. The subject line said, "Timeline adjustment." I don't understand. I took a photo. She pulled out her phone with trembling fingers. "I'm so sorry, William. I'm so sorry." The email was dated 4 days ago. "Derek, Dad's kidney function is declining faster than expected. Dr. Sharma says maybe 2 years left, possibly 3 if he's lucky. We can't wait that long. The house in Point Grey needs to close by spring, or we lose the deposit. Increase the dosage. We need this done by February at the latest. Once he's gone, we tell everyone it was kidney failure. Natural causes. No one will question it. I read it 3 times. The words didn't make sense. They couldn't make sense. "There's more," Patricia whispered. She scrolled down. I took pictures of everything I could before I heard footsteps. The next email was from Derek to someone named Dr. J. Hammond. Patient showing expected symptoms. Increased fatigue, occasional nausea, elevated creatinine levels consistent with chronic kidney disease progression. Continue current supplement regimen. Monthly blood work to monitor. No concerns from family physician. I felt like I was falling. "What supplements?" Patricia's voice broke. "The ones Melissa has been bringing you every Sunday for the past 6 months, William. The ones she said would help with your energy levels." Every Sunday morning, Melissa came by with fresh coffee and what she called a vitamin pack, pills in a little container. She was always so caring about it, so concerned about my health. "Dad, you need to take better care of yourself," she'd say. "These will help with inflammation, kidney function, energy. I researched everything. We need to go to the hospital," Patricia said. "Right now." No. My brain was starting to work again, clicking into the analytical mode that had served me well for 4 decades of teaching. "No, if we go to the hospital now, we alert them. They'll destroy evidence. We need proof, real proof. William, you could be dying." I'm not dying tonight. I took her hand. Trish, listen to me. We do this smart. We document everything. We contact the police. We make sure they can't wriggle out of this. We drove home, in silence. Once inside, Patricia made tea with shaking hands while I sat at our kitchen table, trying to process the impossible. My daughter was poisoning me. My Melissa, the little girl I'd carried on my shoulders, the teenager I'd helped with calculus homework, the young woman I'd walked down the aisle just 3 years ago, the daughter I'd remortgaged our house to send to medical school at UBC. Medical school. She had the knowledge. She had access. She'd even convinced me to see Dr. Hammond for a second opinion about some fatigue I'd been experiencing. Dr. Hammond, who apparently was corresponding with Derek about my treatment. How long? I asked Patricia. What? How long have I been taking those supplements? 6 months. You started in June, right after your birthday. June. That's when Melissa had first mentioned the house in Point Grey. A heritage property, she'd said. Their dream home. $2.8 million. We're stretching ourselves thin, Dad, but it's an investment. Property values in that neighborhood only go up. I'd offered to help with the down payment. She'd refused, said they had it handled. Because they did have it handled. They were going to inherit my estate. The house Patricia and I had paid off over 30 years. My pension, my life insurance, my investments. Everything I'd saved teaching mathematics to students who probably didn't appreciate it. All of it going to Melissa. All of it worth more than $2.8 million. We need those pills, I said suddenly. The ones from this week. Did you keep the container? Patricia nodded and retrieved it from the bathroom. 6 capsules, various colors, in a plastic organizer. We take these to a private lab. Tomorrow, first thing. What are you going to tell Melissa when she calls to check on you? Exactly what she expects to hear. That I'm tired. That I'm not feeling great. That her wonderful party wore me out. The phone rang at 10:30. Melissa. Dad? How are you feeling? I forced my voice to sound weak. A bit run down, sweetheart. Your mother's making me rest. I'm so sorry the party was too much. Derek and I were worried. It was perfect, Melissa. Truly perfect. Thank you both. Did you take your supplements today? I noticed you missed this morning. My blood ran cold. She was tracking it. Not yet. I'll take them before bed. Please do, Dad. They're really important for your kidney function. Dr. Hammond specifically designed that regimen for you. I will, I promise. I love you, Dad. I love you too, sweetheart. I hung up and stared at Patricia. She asked if I'd taken them. She's monitoring it. That night, neither of us slept. We lay in bed, holding hands in the dark, trying to comprehend how we'd gotten here. Where had we gone wrong? Had we spoiled her? Given her too much? Not enough? She wasn't always like this, Patricia whispered. Was she? I thought back through the years. Melissa had always been driven, competitive. She'd wanted the best grades, the best university, the best residency. When she'd married Derek, we'd been happy for her. He was a commercial real estate developer, successful, ambitious. They seemed perfect together. Too perfect. The house, I said suddenly. When did they first mention wanting that house? Last spring. April, I think. And when did Derek's company have that big deal fall through? Patricia sat up. May. The development project in Surrey. He lost investors. It clicked into place. Financial pressure, an expensive lifestyle, a house they couldn't afford, and parents with a comfortable estate. They planned this, I said. They've been planning this for months. The next morning, I took the supplements to a private toxicology lab in Vancouver. I paid extra for rush results. The technician, a young woman named Kavita, asked no questions when I explained I needed discretion. How fast can you test these? I asked. 48 hours for a comprehensive analysis. I'll pay double for 24. Mr. Chen, if you suspect poisoning, you should go to the police. I will, as soon as I have proof. She looked at the pills carefully. I'll have preliminary results by tomorrow afternoon. I spent that day doing research. I accessed every email I could find from Melissa and Derek. I checked our financial records. I documented every doctor's appointment Melissa had arranged for me with Dr. Hammond. I wrote down every symptom I'd experienced over the past 6 months. The fatigue, the occasional nausea, the dizziness, the muscle weakness, all consistent with chronic poisoning. Patricia contacted a lawyer friend discreetly. Hypothetically, she said, what would someone need to prove attempted murder? That evening, Melissa stopped by with another week's worth of supplements. You didn't take yesterday's. Dad, she said, her voice light. The container was still in your bathroom. I forgot, I lied. Too tired after the party. She pressed the new container into my hand. Please don't forget. Your health depends on it. I looked at my daughter, really looked at her. She was beautiful, successful, well-dressed. She was smiling at me with what looked like genuine concern, but her eyes were calculating. How had I never seen it before? I won't forget, I said. After she left, I added those pills to the evidence bag I was building. Kavita called the next afternoon. Mr. Chen, you need to sit down. What did you find? These capsules contain a combination of substances that are extremely dangerous when taken together over time. Thallium sulfate, which causes kidney damage and neurological symptoms. Arsenic trioxide in microdoses. And digitalis, which affects heart function. Whoever designed this regimen knew exactly what they were doing. How long would it take to kill someone? At these doses? 6 to 9 months. It would look like organ failure, natural causes, especially in someone your age with pre-existing kidney concerns. Can you document all of this officially? I already have. Mr. Chen, you need to contact the police immediately. This is attempted murder. I thanked her and hung up. Then I called Detective Sarah Morrison at the Vancouver Police Department. Patricia's lawyer friend had recommended her specifically. Detective Morrison, my name is William Chen, and I have evidence that my daughter and her husband are attempting to murder me for my inheritance. There was a pause. Mr. Chen, that's a serious accusation. I have emails. I have the poison. I have toxicology reports. I have everything. Don't touch anything else. I'm sending officers to your location now. 2 hours later, Detective Morrison sat at my kitchen table, reviewing everything. The emails Patricia had photographed, the toxicology reports, my medical records, the timeline I'd created. This is one of the most premeditated cases I've seen, she said finally. They were systematic, professional, almost. Melissa went to medical school, I said. She knows pharmacology. She knows how to make it look natural. And this Dr. Hammond? I don't think he knew what he was prescribing. Melissa probably told him it was legitimate treatment. She has his trust. Detective Morrison nodded. We'll need to interview him, but first, we need to catch them in the act. Are you willing to help us? What do you need me to do? Take one more meeting with your daughter. Wear a wire. Get her to talk about the timeline, the inheritance, anything that proves intent. Can you do that? I looked at Patricia. She was pale but determined. Do it, she said. We finish this. I called Melissa that evening. Sweetheart, can you come by tomorrow? I need to discuss updating my will. I want to make sure everything is in order. Of course, Dad. Is everything okay? Just being practical. At my age, these things matter. She arrived the next afternoon with Derek. I was wearing the wire Detective Morrison had fitted that morning. Patricia sat beside me on the sofa, her hand in mine. Thanks for coming, I said. I've been thinking a lot about the future, about my estate. Dad, you don't need to worry about that now, Melissa said, but her eyes were bright, eager. I'm 65, Melissa. I have kidney disease. Dr. Hammond says I should prepare for the worst. Derek leaned forward. William, you're going to be fine. The treatment is working. Is it? Because I feel worse every week. More tired, more sick. That's just the disease progression, Melissa said smoothly. But we're managing it. The supplements are helping. Are they? I looked directly at her. Because I had them tested, Melissa. The room went silent. Melissa's face didn't change, but something flickered in her eyes. Tested? Why would you do that? Because my wife saw your email. About the timeline. About increasing the dosage. Derek stood up. I think we should leave. Sit down, Detective Morrison said, stepping into the room with 2 uniformed officers. Derek Sutton, Melissa Chen Sutton. You're under arrest for attempted murder and conspiracy to commit murder. What happened next was chaos. Derek tried to run and was tackled in the hallway. Melissa just sat there, staring at me with pure hatred. You were supposed to die, she said quietly. You were supposed to die months ago, but you're too stubborn. just like always. Why? I asked. Why, Melissa? Why? She laughed bitterly. Because I deserve that money more than you do. I'm your daughter. Everything you have should be mine. But you're going to live forever, aren't you? Just hanging on. Spending my inheritance on your boring little retired life, while Derek and I struggle. You are killing me for a house. It's not just a house, Dad. It's our life, our future, our place in society. You don't understand what it's like to be so close to having everything and not be able to reach it. You had everything, Patricia said, her voice breaking. You had parents who loved you. You had education, opportunity, support. What more did you want? More than you could give me? Melissa spat. More than a middle-class life in a boring house with boring parents who don't understand ambition. They read her rights and led her away in handcuffs. Derek was shouting about lawyers. Melissa looked back at me once, her face twisted with contempt. I hope you die slowly, she said. Those were the last words my daughter ever spoke to me. The trial took 8 months. Dr. Hammond testified that Melissa had manipulated him, using her medical knowledge to make the prescriptions seem legitimate. The toxicology reports were damning. Patricia's photographs of the emails were entered as evidence. Derek tried to claim he'd been manipulated by Melissa, that he didn't know the supplements were poison. The prosecution destroyed that defense with his own emails to Dr. Hammond, tracking my progress. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. Guilty on all counts. Melissa received 23 years. Derek received 20 years. Dr. Hammond lost his medical license, but avoided jail time due to his cooperation. I underwent treatment to remove the toxins from my system. The doctors said I was lucky. Another month or two and the damage would have been irreversible. Even so, my kidneys were compromised. I'd need monitoring for the rest of my life. Patricia and I sold our house. Too many memories. Too much pain. We moved to a smaller place in North Vancouver, near the mountains. We needed a fresh start. People ask me if I hate Melissa, if I'll ever forgive her. I don't have an answer to that. She's my daughter. I raised her. I loved her. Part of me still does. But the daughter I love doesn't exist anymore. Maybe she never did. Maybe I was too blind to see who she really was. What I've learned from this nightmare is that trust, even family trust, should never be blind. Love doesn't mean ignoring warning signs. It doesn't mean giving away your agency to people just because they share your blood. I've also learned that partnership matters. If Patricia hadn't been paying attention, if she hadn't trusted her instincts, I'd be dead. We protect each other. We question together. We make decisions together. That's what saved my life. And I've learned that greed is a poison worse than anything that comes in a pill bottle. It transforms people into monsters. It makes children see their parents as obstacles instead of human beings. It turns love into a transaction. Melissa taught me that, just not in the way she intended. Today, I volunteer at a community center, helping seniors understand their legal rights and financial planning. I teach them to be cautious, to document everything, to trust but verify. I tell them my story, leaving out the worst details but making the point clear. Protect yourselves, even from those you love. Patricia and I are rebuilding. We're traveling, something we always wanted to do but put off because we were saving for Melissa's future. We're learning to live again without the weight of betrayal crushing us every moment. Some days are harder than others. Some days I see a young woman who looks like Melissa and my heart breaks all over again. Some days I wonder where we went wrong, what we could have done differently. But most days, I'm just grateful to be alive. Grateful for a wife who saved me. Grateful for second chances. Grateful that I survived to tell this story. Because maybe someone out there needs to hear it. Maybe someone is ignoring signs they shouldn't ignore. Maybe someone is trusting blindly when they should be asking questions. If that's you, please listen. Love your family, but protect yourself. Trust your instincts. Pay attention. And if something feels wrong, don't wait to find out you're right. I waited too long. I almost didn't get a second chance. Don't make my mistake. This is my story, and it's a warning I pray you never need. But if you do need it, I hope you remember what happened to me. I hope you act faster than I did. I hope you survive to tell your own story. Because in the end, that's all we have. Our stories, our truth, our survival, and the wisdom to protect ourselves from those who would take it all away, even if they call us Dad.